Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. Society needs to file petition against the government if you need good governance. This is what Nitin Gadkari said. I thought it was one of the most pro-people, pro-democracy statement made in recent times by any minister. It was apolitical and pro-democracy. Let's talk about it. Let's get right into the show. While speaking in a ceremony in Nagpur, the Transport Minister, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, said that there should be some people in the society who files petition against the government in the courts. This disciplines the politician. This is because even ministers in the government cannot do the work that a court order can do. Popular politics comes in the way of politicians and ministers. You see, like I said, this is a very apolitical statement. This is beyond politics. It's above politics. What Nitin Gadkari said is actually a very pro-people, pro-democracy statement. And I have not heard these kind of statements for a long time in India. Somewhere down the line, possibly we miss a lot of statesman-like politician that we used to have in India. So that could be one reason, but let's get further. You see, what he said absolutely makes sense. Because a politician who goes on to become a minister is bound by his party needs, party ideology is bound. So a lot of decisions he cannot take because it could be politically incorrect. A lot of decisions a politician who becomes a minister cannot take because it would not be popular. Ministers take popular decisions so that they can remain in the chair. If it is not popular, they don't take those decisions. So for a lot of ministers, a directive from the court comes in as a manna from heaven. Because at times, and I have seen this personally, at times that minister wants to take the decision but cannot due to the fear of public backlash. And he or she does that. He or she goes and takes that decision. He or she executes that decision once the directive comes from court. And there are certain ministers who doesn't want to take that decision because it harms her personal interest, political interest, party's interest. Therefore, he or she doesn't take that decision. But when it comes from the court, the politician, the minister is forced to take that decision. Court sometimes executes more power than the ministers and the executives. So that's what Nitin Gadkari says. Nitin Gadkari says that if you want to resolve problems, resolve issues with the government, with the governance in the society, go file petitions. The reason I say he's absolutely correct is because if it wasn't for a petition in 1975, that is Raj Narayan's petition, possibly we wouldn't have had right to information today. I am not saying that created right to information, but that created the premises, the foundation for right to information, the RTI Act. If it wasn't for Supreme Court Advocates on Record Association versus Union of India case, possibly we would have still now all the CJIs and the court and the judges would have been appointed by the legislature, like they appoint police, like they appoint other investigative body heads. It would have come from the political masters. Politician would have decided kaun kidhar ka judge banega. Then you think, just think for a minute, what would have happened to your courts? Not that your courts are running absolutely speak and span, but imagine what could have been the situation then had these appointments been done by politicians. So thanks to that petition, electoral bonds is thanks to the petition of Associate Democratic Reforms versus Union of India 2024. That is why we came to know that there are people who are funding huge funds. The company doesn't have that kind of revenue. The company doesn't have that kind of turnover, but there are huge donations that are given to political parties. Some of them after ED and IT raids. You came to know about it. You came to know that, all that people who say that na khaunga, na khane dunga and all that is not the case. Lot of khaunga and khane dunga also is happening around here. You came to know about it because of a petition. You see, a very interesting petition is Lily Thomas in 2013. If it wasn't for Lily Thomas versus Union of India, the case that challenged Section 8(4) of the Representation of People Act 1959, which allowed a convict member of parliaments and convict member of legislative assemblies to retain their seats if an appeal was filed within 3 months. So even if you are convicted robber, convicted rapist, convicted murderer, you could have still been an MP, you could have still been an MLA if an appeal is filed in 3 months time, sorry. It is Lily Thomas versus Union of India 2013. That petition is what made the difference. You see, through our editorial, what we try and do is we try and get you subjects, get you topics that makes a difference to our society, makes a difference to our democracy, makes a difference to our governance. Filing petition, if you feel something is wrong, does make a difference to our society, will make a difference to our governance. They will keep the politicians in check rightly, like Mr. Nitin Gadkari said. So right. While this, like I said, I completely understand, but there is one issue that we also need to talk about in the same breath. File kahan par karoge yaar? Where will you file these cases? Court na? Courts have got lakhs of pending cases. This same system which is clogged, you are going to put your case on top of it, no? So that is one problem that even today, our executives, our legislatures, our judiciary has to sit together and resolve. How do we tackle cases? How do we ensure that there are systems put right from the village level where there are systems where you can mitigate litigations, mitigate conflicts? If there are if there are techniques which can mitigate litigations right from the panchayat level, possibly it will give a lot of relief to the top courts. This too is something that is worth considering. I remember in Maharashtra, there was a scheme called Tanta Mukti. Tanta means litigations. Tanta Mukti was organized in a village level. You had nominated heads in villages, people in villages who would put two litigants together and sort it out, arbitrate between those two litigants. Lakhs of cases, I am told, were sorted out this way, right at the village level, through these Tanta Mukti Kendras. Now that was one idea which was put to practice. I don't know whether it is still in practice in Maharashtra. But these are things that could lead to unclogging of the already clogged judicial system. So once we get out of our busy schedule of mandir, masjid and Hindus and Muslims and all of that, once we get out of all that, I think we should also give some impetus, some focus on this too. So that's the point I wanted to make my short editorial today. I will see you tomorrow at 10. Till then, namaskar.